All right. Welcome everyone to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining to our today's webinar titled Superior Teamwork and Managing Multiple Development Streams. My name is Mailan Liu and I will be the host of today's webinar. So let me walk you through the agenda for today. After a short introduction of our company, Untitled Software, I'm going to talk about how codeBeamer can actually support you with managing multiple development streams, and also how you can integrate different lifecycle, also known as extreme lifecycle management. After that, we will talk a little bit about our team concept in codeBeamer, how to assign different tasks to teams, and also how to manage projects. And last but not least, I'm going to show you how you can actually manage multiple development streams and geographically dispersed development teams in a live demonstration in codeBeamer. So after the live demonstration, we will start a short Q&A session. And in case that you have questions at any point of the webinar, please feel free just to use the integrated question area of the GoToMeeting dashboard. And I will do my best to answer them all in the end of this webinar today. And if I don't get to your question, of course, I will follow up with you. Also, a recording of today's webinar will be available on our website www.intland.com/webinars soon after the webinar. And once you're browsing around and visiting our webpage, please make sure you watch and browse through our upcoming webinars as well. So moving on, just a few words about Intland Software. Intland Software was founded in 1998. We are headquartered in Stuttgart, which is located in Germany. And we also have an office in the Silicon Valley, California in the USA. Lufthansa Industry Solution is one of our rollout and hosting partner for installation, which starts actually from small installations from 4 to 5 users up to over 5,000 users. And we also have resellers in Korea and Taiwan. We are the developers and also sole vendors of the application lifecycle management tool, which is called codeBeamer. And our application lifecycle management platform includes 5 components in a single solution, such as the requirements management. You can also do software development management in codeBeamer. We also have an integrated Q&A test management module. Of course, we have the demand management, and you can also do DevOps, also known as IT operations within codeBeamer as well. On this slide, you can see a short list of our clients. So as you can see, we have clients from diverse industries, such as the automotive. We also have clients from the high technology section, in the defense, finance, medical, and from other industries as well. So we are pretty scalable. We have companies in the ranking of mid-size and also large global enterprises such as Siemens, for example, Daimler, or even in the medical section, it's Medtronic. So Intland is providing also consultancy and services from our headquarters in Stuttgart and from Germany. And our mission is basically really to help our clients to manage and also to develop their elaborate and complex products. And we created the application lifecycle management product called codeBeamer to manage the ever-increasingly complexity in either software and hardware development in just one single solution, providing full traceability and transparency at the same time. Within codeBeamer, we help our customer to achieve a higher level of effectiveness by doing the right things, and therefore we have the requirements and demand management capabilities. So basically, demand management in codeBeamer is essential for tracking all the demands in your company and also prioritize them across departments. And codeBeamer provides valuable functionality and also feature which supports collaboration, also helps forecast the demand and meet customers' expectations. On the other hand, we also help our customer to improve to work more efficient by doing the things right with a proper implemented development method in our codeBeamer. So you can see that you can not only use waterfall development in codeBeamer, but we have also integrated lean processes or features that are coming from lean processes, And you can also work with Agile, where the most known, I would say, methodology is Scrum. Of course, you can also use development methodology, which is hybrid. So that means this is just a combination of waterfall and also Agile development. As I mentioned before, different approaches and methodologies can be used and also combined to even achieve a higher efficiency. And the developers on the team level basically will benefit from the integrated requirements management, also development management, and the integrated Q&A and test management feature. So about today's webinar topic, you might wonder why it is even important to talk about managing interconnected and also overlapping development life cycles. Well, we are speaking about this topic because of the increasing product complexity. So in the past, or mostly in the 90s, 60s, products used to have just a hardware component only. So for example, if you just build a car, it just consists of hardware components. And now that products are getting smaller, they have even software components too. And as we are in the age of Internet of Things, many companies has to face the challenge how to actually combine hardware and software components into their product. And before smart elements were added to the product, the term product was simply used to refer to just a physical item. So for example, if you have a refrigerator, if you have a car, a telephone, or something else. And the addition of smart and also connectivity components, however, has enabled developers to embed services in their products too. And software and services are increasingly becoming the backbone of products and consequently are transforming the meaning of the actual term product as we know it today. So could you have even expected that your car to alert you about, for example, roadblocks, or that you actually are able that your fridge can compile a shopping list for you and you can order, for example, food online and automatically 10 years ago? So to cite a few other widely used examples, cars can also navigate, fridge can compile a shopping list, as I mentioned before, or smart and connected homes can actually save you time and energy. And these are all convenient additions to the basic functionality which are being offered by these products in the beginning. So now you see the interconnected life cycles of innovation and development. The term, basically extreme lifecycle management, was coined to refer to the management of various life cycles. On the top left, you can see the demand management. So basically, you start to prioritize all the requirements which are coming from the market. And basically, with codeBeamer's demand management, it helps you to decide about the project which is best for your company. And based on the demand, you can define your requirements and then your architecture. And while connectivity and also smart systems mean new opportunities for a developer to offer innovative services and products, this change also entails certain challenges as well. And you're forced basically to manage the development of smart components, reliable own software, and the innovation of clever services altogether. And product developers today need to rethink of or in what business they're in today. And they basically need to adapt all those three life cycles together, and they also need a way to find how to manage these interconnected life cycles of either hardware, software, and also the service innovation together. And you could see that there are going to be, or you're going to basically develop the different layers parallel, but also separately. And they will also need to bring somehow together the various development streams and lifecycle processes in an integrated manner as well. And in addition to posing this to a business management problem, this challenge also comes with its own technical difficulties. So basically, as I'm allowed to say that, there's basically no tool yet on the market that was specifically designed to enable you to do this. And due to its high integratability and also the ability to manage high levels of complexity. The application lifecycle management codeBeamer is a very great solution which is successfully used by many companies globally in order to manage such complicated processes. So let me explain you in a few words how this works. So basically, managing the various sub-life cycles over the overarching product development processes can be greatly supported by codeBeamer's single solution platform that helps you combine these individual approaches, tools, life cycles, and development methodologies together. Also managing more than just one development stream, contributing to even one or more products necessitates the orchestration of the work of, for example, several and also distributed teams and departments. And however, the flexible lifecycle management solution like codeBeamer lets you also integrate individual development streams and lifecycles together, also providing a high-level overview in the product release and letting you continuously monitor the performance of each of these streams, as well as the granular management of the processes. And basically, through the release train mechanism, which codeBeamer application lifecycle management provides, this allows you to house sub-releases under releases and also monitor the performance KPIs, manage the work of all the teams and the team members involved. And whatever development stream they're even contributing to and whatever methodology they use, may it be like Agile for hardware development, or may it be waterfall development for hardware development, or even you can use hybrid methodologies for service development. Many teams, as I mentioned before, can work with different methodologies, as each of them can have advantages and also disadvantages. And this may further increase the challenges how to even manage the interconnecting, the complexity, let's say. So as I mentioned before, hardware is usually developing using like waterfall processes, while software development is increasingly supported by the agile processes. And service may be development using either of these, just like a hybrid process, so combining the benefits of both waterfall and agile. And all of these three development streams contribute to the same product, and consequently they should be managed in one integrated platform. And I will show you in a live demonstration in a few minutes. Also, as I mentioned before, it's valuable to mention that codeBeamer provides a very convenient and also efficient platform to manage the individual and also overlapping intertwined lifecycle of hardware, software, and service innovation in just one single solution. And what's more, codeBeamer supports integration of suppliers and technology via collaborative features and several integration points. So the collaboration with third parties is facilitated by, for example, shared documents. You can also comment on different documents or artifacts. You can also have a complete change history of all the artifacts in the system, as well as very powerful workflow to actually enforce the processes. And also we have a very large REST API that, and also an built-in integration with industry standard solution for further support collaboration. And yeah, basically that's it. So let us jump to the live demonstration. But before we actually jump into the live demonstration, I would like to ask you a few questions. The first question is, what development methodology are you currently using? Are you using Agile development processes or Scrum? Are you using waterfall processes or even hybrid? So thanks for your answers in advance. So these questions will just take like few seconds. Please take around like few seconds to answer each of these questions. So I see that most of you are working with hybrid. This is great. All right. Next question is, which tool are you using right now? Are you using MS Office, IBM, Jira, HP, or even other tools? All right, I see that most of you are using MS Office and Jira. So we have an integration with Jira of the box, and also an integration with MS Office, as we also see that MS Office is mostly still used by most of companies. So we provide import, export functionality and also round trip functionality. All right, the next question is, are you looking actually, or are you searching for a tool to manage just requirements, testing the entire development lifecycle, also LLM, just agile projects, or even are you searching a tool to actually manage multiple agile projects and scale agile? All right, thank you so much for your answers. So as of now, I'm going to jump into codeBeamer. This is what you can see. I set up a demo project for XLM, and you can see basically this is a codeBeamer where we are right now. codeBeamer is a fully web browser-based system, and you can basically use codeBeamer in every standard browser, such as Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Safari as well. What you can see right now is actually we are in the so-called project browser. So basically you can manage all different or all kind of projects in here. And each of these projects is being visualized as one of these square. And you can basically customize this view accordingly. So for example, I can change the color. I can also, as you can see here, I can change the size just for personal customization. You can also see that we have a high-level overview project, which is called the product release. And as I mentioned before, codeBeamer provides a very convenient and also efficient platform to manage overlapping and intertwined life cycles of the hardware development, the software development, and also the service development. And each of these parallel developments can be managed separately as project. And that is what you can see right here. So basically, just to explain a little bit, in codeBeamer, in our understanding, a project is like, or acting like a working space where stakeholders, members, and also teams can work and collaborate together, defining the daily work items and artifacts and managing them in the config items. And actually, you can see here, this is actually, there's a train symbol. In the product release, actually, we can bring the different life cycles from the software development, hardware development, and service development together. But let me show you. So I'm just about to click to the, going to the product release project. And then I'm switching to the tracker, where you basically, we have a tracker. So basically trackers, just for further understanding, are acting like work items. So this is just a combination of different work item types. You can have architecture, you can define product development, you can define requirements, even tests, change requests, and bugs. So, and on the right-hand side, we have the config items. And the config items, you can basically manage all the work items for your daily work. And the config items doesn't change that often. So you can see, for example, we have the product release on the right-hand side. So starting off with the demand management, as you remember, we have to prioritize all the demands and decide which actually the demand is valuable for our company. And therefore, when I go to the product development, you see on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, that we have a tree structure and also according hierarchy. So, for example, if you have further, if you're collecting like demands from the market, you can do so in this view. And of course, if you just if you get a new market requirement, you can also easily add a new requirement just by clicking on the plus symbol. And for example, add new potential ideas or demands for the development of your product very easily. So for example, you can specify your potential idea. So for example, say this should be a touchscreen for the SUV. And you see, now I just added a new idea. Also, you can add some description. So for example, a touchscreen with hardware and software and service components, for example. And also what's about codeBeamer is that you can also, of course, specify different attributes and properties for each of your demands. So what you can see on the right-hand side are actually the attributes you can where you can put in further information for your demands, such as, for example, the failure and risk in percentage. So let's say the touchscreen is very risky, and you can also attach like costs or potential costs for this idea. And you can save this up. So actually, this is a way how you can actually collect the ideas with providing attributes, properties. Another thing is that once you actually collect all the product development ideas, your business analyst can go through this list and actually vote what's most valuable for the company. So this is one of the features we provide for a demand management module. So for example, he can just go through here and say the provide carbon-based conductor is for experiments, and this is, for example, not so important. So he can actually rate on this and give a comment, for example. So once he just comment on this and rated on this, you can see the average rating for all of the business analysts by this symbol. So you see this is just one, has been given just one rating. So if I go down to the actual last demands, I can actually rate with 5 stars, for example, and say this is very important for the company. And once I rate on that, you see that the average rating, so this is the most valuable or the next product development idea that a company should continue. Another thing is that you can also specify the hierarchy for which demand you would like to move on just by dragging this demand up to the top, indicating that this is should be the second idea to develop. So basically, most valuable epic can or is at the top of this tree structure. Another thing is that if you actually want to move on to implement a product, you can use our integrated Kanban board, which is actually coming from lean processes, as I mentioned before. And it is all about the real-time decision making and also the visualization of the workflow. So basically, you can see the workflow of your demands and the flow of the work through each state in the workflow can be monitored, be measured, and also be reported. So let me show you how this can be done. So let's assume that the touchscreen for the SUV is ready for implementation. You can just take this physical card. No, not physical card, it is digital card, and you can put it into the next state in progress, which indicates that we're actually about to start developing this, this idea. All right, basically, to summarize that, the Kanban board is very helpful for project managers, for example, to get the insight into the progress of a work. All right, basically, once you define the demands, the most valuable demands, you can derive the requirements. Let me show you. So this is another demand called audio player prototype. And now I click into the specific demand to see what's going on. I can see, for example, that this demand has a very low risk and also costs like 60,000. And now, for example, just to show you, if I can edit this one, just to demonstrate you that everything in codeBeamer is archived. So for example, I just changed the cost from 60,000 to 5,000. And now when I go to the history, you will see the changes, and you will also see who actually made the changes at what time. So we'll have the full traceability even on a management level, and also later on, if you actually develop software, you can also have full traceability down to the source code level. All right, so let me show you. Once we are in, this is actually the idea. You can see once I open up the relations that actually different teams are working to actually implement the audio player prototype. And you can also see that we define different requirements, one for service, which is the connectivity. You can define further requirements for hardware, and this is the software part. And you can see that this is connected to each other. So for example, I can just go into the design, and you can review the actual detailed information of your requirements. And from the requirements, you can also define like the architecture. You can see here. So basically, I can derive architecture from my requirements. And then also, of course, task. So when I show you the relations tab again, this is what I prepared for today. You can see that we defined different architecture for the hardware and also a task to actually implement the hardware requirement. So basically, this is the way how we can interconnect from the demand down to requirements, down to the architect, and then you can basically derive tasks as well. So, but before we actually do that, I'm going to show you our product release, where you can see how we interconnect the hardware development. So this is one release. If I expand that, I can see that actually we are about to implement this task, and also 3 releases which are coming from the team level, or let's say like this is should visualize the different life cycles that can be actually implemented in parallel but still separately. We also have a release for service development and also for software development. And what you can see here is basically that in the hardware development, we have 2 teams actually who are working on this. So you see the Delta team and the Epsilon team. On the service development, we can see that Kappa and Zeta team are working on this to actually develop the connectivity part, and also the software development. 3 teams are working on that currently. So basically, you have the as I mentioned before, the high-level overview on this project. Actually, what you also can see is we also have sorry, if I go to the wiki, you can actually also see the burn down chart for each of the development, may it be hardware, for service, or for software component development. And including the burn down chart, that shows you for each development lifecycle, you can manage if you actually are able to manage the releases on time. And this is just a graphical visualization of the work left versus to do on versus time, basically. And the outstanding work is often on the vertical X and within the time along the horizontal. And basically, just to summarize that, it's very useful in also predicting visualization when all of the work has to be, so it's being collected and visualized in that burn down chart. All right. Going here from, maybe I'm going to show you how this works. If you actually are in the requirements, you can basically, sorry, I'm just switching to software requirements. So basically I'm just, for example, the audio player compatibility. So as of now, I'm in the requirements, and now I can just derive, for example, a new referring item and define a task, for example. And I can call it, for example, implement a playlist for the editor, for the audio. So once I submit the task or derive the task from my requirements, you can see the subject field actually that we have this connection automatically achieved by the system. Once I create a new task, you can also assign this task to a team, for example, alpha team. You can also assign it to a specific release, and let's choose the software development. Now you can set it. You can also define some story points, for example, for, and click on Save. And then moving on, you can just distribute this task down to your actually team which is working on that. So basically, you can now define a new release, and you will see that there's also the connection, and you can specify the team who has to work on that. Implementing of the playlist editor. Right, so let's save this up. So once I refresh the page, you will see that actually we are about to work on the task, and also you can see the release here. What I mentioned before is when I go to the release, you can also specify, you actually see that we have pre-configured trackers for the software development. So as they're working with Agile, you can, for example, specify user stories, and then from the user stories, you can basically assign different user stories to the sprint. So for example, if I'm taking 2 of them, I can just drag them into the specific release. Now we're working on that. Also, I can, for example, add new story points. For example, yeah, okay, we also have the story points. Maybe if I'm changing to 20. So just remember we have 1,000 user stories committed. I'm saving this up. Going back to the software development, you will see that we actually committed more story points. And what you can actually see right now is that we are showing in the release statistic how many items are coming from which development team, let's say, or which component has which progress. And by clicking on onto this button, actually you can see the overall and also the high-level progress for all the parallel development streams, either for hardware, software, and also service development. And you also have the possibility to check on the progress for each development itself. So therefore, you just have to go into a specific release and check out the actual status for each of the development of the components, for example. All right. What's more, you can also use our product release planner to actually manage your team. So for example, you see that we actually have to implement the amplifier hardware, and you see there's no team yet. So you can just click on that and assign it to a team, the Epsilon team, for example. And now you see that actually we just assigned this this task or development stream to the Epsilon team. Another thing is that you can also, if you're a product manager, you can basically use the planner to basically have an overview on what's the workload of your team. So for example, you can basically filter for your alpha team, whereas you can see the task and you can see all the overall release. And you can also filter on multiple teams in codeBeamer as well. Another thing that I want to show you is our so-called resourcing extraction. which gives you basically the overview on the resources on a member team, and basically one person can be also part of multiple teams. So you can see here in a tab we listed all the teams, and also, for example, my colleague, I can see that he's part of the Gamma team, and he's actually implementing this task, and he has one item and so much story points. And if you actually are also defining start date, you can see start date and end date as well. So this gives you a very nice overview on what's the resources on your team. So what's more, you can also use, for example, our integrated Kanban board to achieve that. Let me just quickly show you. So for example, you can see all the to-dos in the hardware development, and you can also basically filter on your team. So you can basically see, okay, the Delta team has to work on 2 elements, and the Epsilon team can also work is working on 3. You can also filter for members. This is also possible. All right. As I mentioned before, we also support different methodologies. So if you actually implement software, you can either use Git, Subversion, Mercurial, CVS. Let me show you. We're supporting all of these 4. And actually, for this project, you can see that we have a Git repository. Sorry, let me just go into the fork. And you can see also the source code in the SPN repository. All the source code is being stored too. I can see who actually committed the source code and by what time, and you can also see the link here to the specific task that has been actually implemented. And also on the item level, you can see the commits. And of course, we also have a review functionality for software development. So for example, you can review the source code of your colleague, for example. So this is a very nice collaboration feature. Another thing is that you also can manage testing. You can do manual testing, but if you're more interested, you can check out our webinar titled Software Quality Assurance Testing and Reporting. Maybe just to show you, this is how it looks like. So this is basically our test coverage browser, where you can see whether the requirement has been tested with test cases so far, and you see also the coverage and what the coverage analysis. So just to show you how it looks like. What I mentioned before is that actually in codeBeamer you can have full traceability even down to the source code level, and therefore we have the Traceability Browser. And basically you can start from the top. So for example, for the product development, you can start tracing. For example, let me choose the requirements, and then you can also track to the architecture. You can track to the task. You can track to everything you want to track to. So maybe I'm just selecting the task. You will see that up here we don't have anything, no traceability, but once I go down, you see we have here 3 items. Actually, this is the audio player prototype. We have requirements, we have tasks, and if I even want to see the life cycles, different life cycles, I can choose all selected trackers to bring all together the different releases or multiple life cycle developments. So you see we have the media player, the software development, the connectivity, and also software hardware components here. From here you can of course define further tasks, just to cut them down a little bit. So for example, I'm just clicking around a little bit to show you. If you have software development task to specify how to implement the software, you can also track to task. And then for example, if you have source code commits, you can also track down to source code commits. And if I zoom out a little bit, I was just tracking about like multiple levels. The best thing in codeBeamer is you can also export this view to Office, either to Excel or to Word. Let me show you how this looks like. So I'm just saving this file. And you will see that all these selected trackers are basically also being exported to Excel as well. So you see how here the connection down to the source code level. Also, you have the hard link. So for example, if you're interested to see what's going on the specific media player software, you can click on that and review this specific item in the detailed information of that artifact. All right. Let me go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So pretty much this was the live demonstration. Thank you so much for your interest and also for your that you actually joined to the webinar. Before we actually jump into the questions, I have another question to ask you. So the question is, would you like to receive further information about codeBeamer application lifecycle management? All right, thank you so much. All right, let's jump to the Q&A session. There's a question, how can I configure the product release project to show the release of the other projects? So this is just a configuration matter. In the release configuration in the fields tab, you can specify, there's a field, internal field called version, where you can specify the connection to another release. So this is just like a simple reference where you can interconnect a higher release level with a sub-release. I hope this helps. So, do you have any other questions so far? Maybe just short notice. Of course, you can visit us at intland.com to find more information about XLM. You can also download our brochure to get more information about how to manage interconnected and different and intertwined life cycles. And you can also simply get in touch with one of our salespersons, and you can simply request a one-on-one live demonstration as well. So let me see if there are more questions. Not yet. So still, if you have questions, please use the dashboard of GoToMeeting. Also, short notice, we would like also to invite you to our next webinar, which will be about the compliance, how you can actually achieve compliance with medical standards such as the IEC 62304, how you can achieve compliance with ISO 40971, the IEC 6061, and also how we can support you to achieve the FDA Title 21 CFR Part 11 on the 14th October 2015 at 4 p.m. All right, no questions so far. In that case, I would like to thank you so much for your attention and maybe see you next time.